Imagine a battlefield scenario. Hundreds of miles away from the devastation of war, targets are being selected. Instructions are fed into a computer, and with the press of a button, a weapon is launched. As it approaches its target, the weapon independently decides how to strike the enemy, and from afar, it destroys the target with precision. This is not fiction. This is a reality. Wars today are being fought in a way where the selection of targets is shifting from human hands to the weapons themselves. Don't confuse this with drone warfare. As drones do not make independent decisions, there is still a human operator behind them. What we are talking about here are weapons that are fully in control of themselves. Artificial intelligence, after transforming the world, has now begun to transform the battlefield as well. The time is not far when the decision to drop a bomb, or not, will also be made by machines without any human oversight. Fully autonomous weapon systems, referred to by the acronym AWS, have launched a new arms race. From drones to tanks, from submarines to missile systems, these weapons are becoming an integral part of modern warfare, now being made fully autonomous. The U.S. Navy has already completed several missions in the recent wars in Syria, Iraq, and Libya, using an unmanned combat aircraft called the X-47B. This aircraft is dubbed a nightmare for the Russian military because it has outperformed enemy aircraft for several reasons. One reason is that regardless of stormy weather during missions, it can take off from an aircraft carrier, unlike manned fighter jets, which are vulnerable due to pilot errors or human limitations in harsh weather. Another factor behind the success of this aircraft is its efficiency. It is 10 times more capable of completing missions than a piloted jet. Human pilots face G-force limitations during high-speed maneuvers, which restrict their movement and response times. However, being pilotless, this aircraft faces no such constraints. It's not just fighter jets. The U.S. has also developed an unmanned warship called the Sea Hunter. This vessel, guided purely by AI, can independently navigate oceans and locate its targets. Due to its smaller size, the Sea Hunter is not only faster but also significantly cheaper than conventional warships, where a typical warship costs $700,000 per day during a mission. The Sea Hunter accomplishes the same tasks for just $20,000. How could Russia lag behind in this arms race? It plans to deploy its latest T-14 Armata tanks along the European border. Equipped with automated combat modules developed with the help of the famed Kalashnikov company, these tanks can autonomously detect, select, and engage targets. China, too, is notable for developing AI-powered tanks and warships, but its flagship project is an unmanned fighter jet known as Anjian or Darksword. This aircraft's highlight is its ability to execute lightning-fast maneuvers. A human pilot would die from the G-force generated during such sudden turns. But since there is no pilot, this becomes achievable. Turkey, during the Syrian conflict, planned to deploy cargo quadcopters, completely autonomous weapons. When launched, these drones independently search, track, decide, and attack their targets without human intervention. They possess no emotions and leave no room for human error. Once assigned a target, they have no other option but to strike. The innovation in autonomous and self-operating weapons is far from over. More groundbreaking developments are surfacing rapidly. As humanity delegates the responsibility of killing to machines, it becomes essential to ensure these machines are precise and capable of delivering surprise. You might recall the September 2019 attack by Yemen's Houthi rebels, who used 18 bomb-laden drones and cruise missiles to paralyze Saudi Arabia's modern air defense system. This smart attack on the Ab Qaik and Quraysh oil fields halved Saudi oil production, significantly spiking global oil prices. Several advanced countries are now working on models involving swarms of small drones capable of overwhelming enemy defenses and launching coordinated attacks from multiple directions. It's claimed that Israel has a fleet of Harpy and Harop drones that recently destroyed a Russian military command headquarters in Syria. Let's take it a step further. You'll probably remember Arnold Schwarzenegger's hit movie series Terminator, in which a killer robot annihilates humans. Many countries have not treated this as mere fiction, but as a futuristic concept, prompting them to begin developing such killer robots. These machines will autonomously select and destroy targets on the battlefield. They are considered the soldiers of the future. However, scientists argue that humans possess the ability to exercise discretion during warfare, which machines lack. These machines are devoid of emotion and are built solely for destruction. In the absence of international regulations on such dangerous weapons, they are seen as a serious threat to global peace. One major reason for their increasing use is their speed in making decisions and executing them, something humans simply can't match. Some sensitive installations already have such defense systems in place. For instance, Israel's Iron Dome protects against rocket and missile attacks from Palestine, and the US has its Phalanx gun system that defends warships against anti-ship missiles. The US has also tested hypersonic Falcon aircraft, capable of flying 20 times faster than the speed of sound, about 21,000 kilometers per hour, and it is fully autonomous in its decision-making. Similarly, Germany's NBS Mantis guns autonomously fire mortar rounds in a highly precise manner. Humans cannot match the simultaneous thinking, data processing, and rapid response abilities of these machines. That's why we are now outsourcing our defense to machines. Scientists refer to AI-powered weapons as the third revolution in modern weaponry. The first generation was gunpowder and firearms. The second was nuclear weapons. Now, in the third generation, scientists are concerned that giving machines the authority to kill without human oversight or emotions could become a nightmare. These autonomous weapons can make mistakes, costly ones. They lack the ability to distinguish between a military vehicle and a civilian one. A relevant example comes from 1983, when a Soviet officer, Lieutenant Colonel Stanislav Petrov, prevented World War III by trusting his instincts over a computer system. Petrov was on duty at a Russian atomic command center when the system showed 5 American nuclear missiles had been launched. Despite protocol requiring a retaliatory strike, Petrov remained calm and used his judgment. Concluding that the US would not make such a mistake, the alert was a false alarm, caused by Russian satellites mistaking cloud reflections for missile launches. Had Petrov relied on the computer, a devastating nuclear war might have ensued. This is why the United Nations and many scientists advocate for limiting the use of semi-autonomous weapon systems that remain under human supervision. However, there is a dire need for strict regulations on fully autonomous weapon systems, which many countries are now pursuing. Without such measures, a major humanitarian catastrophe could unfold. It's said that in the future, the superpower will be the nation that dominates space. Countries whose war headquarters are in space stations will command the battlefield, not from GHQs or the Pentagon, but from orbit. Planning and launching of missiles will be done from space via satellites. The US has already formed its Space Force Command and sees China, Russia, and Japan as its primary threats in the space race.